An NBA insider has just dropped a bombshell about Jonathan Kuminga's future that has sent shockwaves through the league, and whispers are growing louder that Warriors general manager Mike Dunleavy might be ready to move the young forward in a sign and trade deal. The most intriguing chatter centers on a potential swap that would send Kuminga to Chicago in exchange for Nikola Vucevic, the very player Golden State nearly acquired at the deadline. If this scenario comes to fruition, it could reshape the title landscape overnight, and it all begins with Kuminga's decision to seek greener pastures away from the Bay. According to those close to the situation, Kuminga's camp has grown, increasingly restless amid the uncertainty surrounding Steve Kerr's long-term vision for the roster. Having shown flashes of superstar potential, Kuminga realizes that his window to make a transformative impact might be closing if he remains in a secondary role behind established veterans. An unnamed scout told ESPN's Kevin Pelton that the ideal outcome for Kuminga would be a sign and trade. The best thing that happens to him is if they facilitate a move this summer. The scout insisted, noting that both player and organization seem amenable to exploring options. What makes the Vucevic proposal so compelling is the mutual fit on paper. Golden State coveted Vucevic's skill set before the trade deadline, only to have negotiations stall over draft pick compensation and salary matching complications. Vucevic, a bona fide stretch five who knocked down almost 40% of his threes last season while hauling in double-digit rebounds, represents a prototype Warriors center. He can space the floor, hit the mid-range jumper, and crash the boards relentlessly. Though not the rim-protecting presence some fans crave, his offensive versatility and passing acumen would seamlessly integrate into the motion-heavy offense that has become a Warriors trademark. Meanwhile, a fresh start in Chicago could be exactly what Kuminga needs. The Bulls are in a rebuilding phase that offers him the chance to become the focal point of their rotation, alongside emerging talents like Kobe White and Alex Caruso. In the Windy City, Kuminga could step into a lead option role reminiscent of DeMar DeRozan's tenure, with a cast more inclined to defer and surround him with complementary shooters. The move would also alleviate the cap constraints holding back Chicago's front office, as a sign and trade allows them to absorb Kuminga's enlarged salary under the Bird exception while shedding Vucevic's near-veteran minimum contract. Of course, pulling off such a deal is easier said than done. Sign and trade rules stipulate that when a restricted free agent like Kuminga signs a new contract above the minimum, his outgoing salary in the transaction counts for only 50% of his actual earnings for matching purposes. That quirk has stymied previous attempts to land Vucevic, as Golden State balked at including a prized first-round pick just to balance the ledger. Even so, salary cap wizards believe it can be made to work. If Kuminga inks a 4-year deal, starting at around $25 million per season, he would only count for about $12.5 million in the trade, allowing the Warriors to absorb Vucevic's $20+ million without breaching the apron. Beyond the technicalities, the broader implications are what have fans and rival front offices leaning in. Should the trade materialize, Golden State would boast a front-court pairing of Draymond Green's defensive genius and Vucevic's spacing prowess, freeing up Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson to operate with more room on the perimeter. It would also signal that the organization is fully committed to squeezing every ounce of championship contention out of its core veterans, even at the expense of burgeoning talent. Conversely, Chicago would be betting on Kuminga's upside as a future All-Star, banking that a change of scenery and a larger role can catalyze the kind of breakout performance that justifies parting with a reliable veteran. Still, questions remain about Vucevic's fit beyond his shooting. While his perimeter accuracy is elite for a big man, his pick-and-pop instincts sometimes come at the expense of interior defense, where he ranks below average in rim protection metrics. He rarely sets the punishing screens the Warriors rely on to spring pick-and-roll action, and his ability to switch onto quicker guards is limited. Yet many believe his strengths, offensive rebounding, playmaking from the elbow, and veteran savvy, outweigh those shortcomings, especially when paired with a defensive anchor like Green. As for Kuminga, the prospect of stepping out of Kerr's shadow and forging his own path is tantalizing. At 22 years old, he's already shown the athleticism and scoring versatility that suggests a superstar ceiling. In Chicago, he could join a young core less encumbered by legacy, affording him the autonomy to expand his game as the primary option. The Bulls, in turn, would gain a marquee talent around whom they can rebuild, potentially accelerating their return to playoff contention. All told, the Vucevic for Kuminga sign and trade stands as one of the most plausible blockbuster scenarios of the offseason. It satisfies Golden State's desire for a polished big man who fits their championship window, while granting Kuminga the starring role he craves. Of course, until contracts are signed and phones stop ringing in front offices, it remains speculation. But if the reports hold true, league insiders agree that both sides could emerge winners, setting the stage for an off-season drama worthy of the hardwood stage. In the wake of these swirling trade rumors, voices around the league have begun to weigh in on how such a blockbuster might reshape both franchises. Some front office executives point out that the Warriors' window for adding a veteran big man who can shoot and rebound efficiently has never been clearer. With Draymond Green's playmaking and defensive intensity already anchored in place, the addition of a true stretch five would transform their spacing dynamics, allowing Curry and Thompson to attack closeouts with even greater freedom. Yet others caution that the chemistry that has defined Golden State's three-peat core is fragile. Inserting a new centerpiece after years of stability could introduce unforeseen wrinkles, especially in semi-close practices and late game sets where timing and trust are paramount. Behind the scenes, Chicago's brass is said to be scouring scouting reports, analytics dashboards, and film sessions to ascertain whether Kuminga's two-way potential can be harnessed more fully under their new coaching staff. In a system that prizes versatility and positional interchange, Kuminga's ability to guard multiple spots and thrive in transition could prove invaluable. Sources close to the player suggest that he has already discussed stylistic fit with Chicago's director of player development, expressing excitement at the prospect of more isolation opportunities and fewer schematic constraints. Insiders note that Kuminga's first-hand experience with Kerr's read and react offense has sharpened his decision-making under pressure, an attribute that could accelerate his growth if the Bulls deploy him alongside pick-and-roll specialists who can consistently generate open driving lanes. Financially, the trade would mark a savvy maneuver for both teams, albeit one fraught with timing considerations. The Warriors must ensure they remain under the second apron to preserve their mid-level exception rights, meaning they cannot absorb an unbalanced salary without jeopardizing future flexibility. Executives intimate that Golden State is peppering suitable partners with hypothetical matchups, soundtracking each proposal with animated discussions of how incoming and outgoing salaries interplay under Bird exception sign and trade rules. Chicago, for its part, would leverage the first-year salary savings created by Vucevic's departing contract to pursue perimeter scorers in free agency, aiming to supplement Kuminga's arrival with veteran wings who can alleviate defensive burdens and thrive in catch-and-shoot roles. From a coaching perspective, the potential arrival of Vucevic has sparked internal debates about how to allocate rotation minutes. Some assistants argue that his veteran instincts would allow him to serve as a steadying presence when the starters rest, offering a scoring punch without sacrificing structural coherence. Others counter that his lack of rim protection prowess demands a reconfiguration of small ball lineups, possibly pushing Kevon Looney into a backup role better suited to high-energy closeouts and powerful interior defense. Warriors coaching staff are reportedly mapping out several what-if scenarios, imagining lineups in which Vucevic's shooting gravity creates staggered pick-and-pop actions that force opposing switches and generate mismatch opportunities for Green racing to the rim. Meanwhile, in Chicago, a new coaching regime looks poised to tailor its schemes around Kuminga's distinct athletic gifts. Early practice reports hint that the Bulls envision him initiating dribble handoffs, utilizing his length to finish at the rim or reset the offense on kick-out passes. His high-motor approach on the boards meshes with Chicago's emphasis on second-chance points, and his rapid improvement in mid-range jumpers, already clocked at nearly 40%, could give the Bulls a consistent scoring threat when the defense collapses. Moreover, league insiders speculate that Chicago's strategy meetings now include segments on how to best leverage Kuminga in late-game scenarios, from isolations at the elbow to staggered screens off the ball designed to free him for catch and shoot. Opportunities that fan sentiment on both coasts has been just as impassioned. In San Francisco, social media threads overflow with debate. Proponents of the trade argue that Vucevic's proven track record and playoff experience fill a glaring need, while purists fear the loss of Kuminga's upside could hamper Golden State's ability to transition from veteran-led to next-generation contender. On Bulls forums, similarly heated discussions revolve around whether it's prudent to mortgage a reliable veteran for a young player whose peaks and valleys have been stark. Some point to Kuminga's defensive lapses as red flags, while others wax optimistic that more playing time will iron out the inconsistencies. As the July moratorium looms, league observers anticipate that negotiations will escalate quickly once the calendar flips. The timing of guaranteed money, the structuring of Kuminga's extension, and the inclusion of potential draft pick safeties could all emerge as critical bargaining chips. If Chicago insists on protecting itself against injury risk, its front office might seek a protected first-round selection or future pick swap. Golden State, resistant to parting with its most coveted draft capital, could counter with performance-based incentives or partial protections. At the center of these chess moves stands Kuminga, whose willingness to sign a contract that facilitates a sign and trade, rather than testing the open market, signals a prioritization of immediate opportunity over maximum financial upside. Looking beyond the technicalities, this prospective trade underscores the shifting priorities within the NBA's modern powerhouses. Golden State appears hell-bent on wringing every championship run out of its core pairing, even if it means accelerating the timeline of its youth movement through unorthodox means. Chicago, conversely, seems eager to embrace the high-risk, high-reward potential of a supremely gifted athlete, betting that a bold acquisition today can leverage momentum into sustained contention tomorrow. Should the deal come together, the ripple effects will extend far beyond the hardwood. National analysts will dissect the repercussions for luxury tax projections, all-star voting splits, and future recruitment pitches, while rival front offices take copious notes on how to balance ambition with fiscal prudence. In the end, the success of such a seismic trade will hinge on execution both on and off the court. For the Warriors, integrating Vucevic without disrupting championship-caliber cohesion will be the ultimate test of their organizational acumen. For Kuminga, thriving in Chicago's accelerating rebuild will demand maturity and sustained growth. On both ends of the floor, if both sides deliver, the NBA could witness the birth of a renewed dynasty in Golden State and the dawn of a rising powerhouse in Chicago, all born from the audacious decision to swap youth for experience and potential for certainty. Until that ink dries and preseason tip-offs commence, however, all that remains is speculation, anticipation, and the tantalizing prospect of July's most compelling storyline. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In what could be the most surprising shakeup of the NBA offseason, whispers are swirling around the league that Domantas Sabonis, one of the most consistent and skilled big men in the game, might be heading to the Golden State Warriors on a 4-year deal. This rumor has sent shockwaves through basketball circles across the United States, as Sabonis' move to the Warriors would mark a significant change for both the player and the franchise. Sabonis, known for his versatility, strong rebounding, and ability to score both inside and from mid-range, has been a cornerstone for his current team. His presence on the court brings a balance of power and finesse that many teams covet, and the idea of him donning the Warriors' iconic blue and gold jersey is already sparking intense discussions among fans and analysts alike. If this deal goes through, it could signal a major strategic pivot for Golden State, who have been looking to bolster their front court depth and add another reliable star to their lineup. Golden State Warriors have long been celebrated for their dynamic backcourt and sharpshooting, but their pursuit of Sabonis suggests they want to reinvent their inside game and secure a player who can dominate the paint without sacrificing mobility. Sabonis' ability to stretch the floor and facilitate offense would complement the Warriors' style of play perfectly, potentially making their offense even more lethal. While nothing is officially confirmed yet, the chatter around the league points to a commitment that could last 4 years, which is no small investment. The Warriors clearly see Sabonis as a long-term piece in their quest to return to championship glory. For Sabonis, the move could represent a chance to join a team with a storied history and a proven winning culture, while also carving out a new chapter in his career alongside some of the NBA's biggest names. This possible signing is already fueling debates. Will Sabonis thrive in the Warriors system? How will his arrival impact the team's chemistry and existing roster? Can the Warriors reassert their dominance in the West with this addition? Fans are eagerly waiting for more details to surface as the NBA offseason continues to deliver unexpected twists. In the meantime, the rumor mills keep turning, painting an exciting picture of what could be one of the most talked about transactions in recent memory. Should this deal come to fruition, the Golden State Warriors and Domantas Sabonis might just redefine the power dynamics of the league, setting the stage for an electrifying new era in the NBA. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.